Or two.
Guys, welcome to the stream. So it seems the FBI is making house calls again. I don't just have one incident. I've got two because of social media posts. Okay, instead of going out and catching real criminals, they're going after their opposition, people like you and I. So the first video I'm going to show is allegedly that the FBI shows up at a woman's house to question her because of some memes she's posted on social media criticizing Joe Biden. Now, I want you to watch it and then we'll discuss.
Can we just move in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy?
Sure we can, yeah.
I need you to identify yourself and let me take imagery of your IDs.
I'm not going to share my credentials on the phone.
So you said you were with the FBI?
That's correct.
And why won't you show me your credentials?
We did. I showed you my
I didn't take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. So, and we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do
I
is
didn't
just
look
have
at your
a
credentials. Again, I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made. Would you be willing to talk to us today about that?
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification
Do you have a card or something
cards?
from your attorney that we could reach out
No,
to?
no. I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right.
So they're not willing to show their credentials again, which is very it's strange because most law enforcement will show their credentials multiple times. And I've seen other instances where FBI agents would be asked multiple times and they showed ID. You ever seen these auditors that go around auditing police and they'll show multiple times if they're asked their credentials? However, these guys are not. Then you also hear him ask, well, let me get a card of your attorney. He wants to contact her attorney before she can talk to him.
Do you mind having your attorney contact the FBI office in Oklahoma City?
What's the number? What are the names of the agents?
I'll Google it for you.
So again, whenever you're dealing with any form of law enforcement, they typically have a business card, usually with a seal on it, and they'll give it to you. These guys are looking through their phone to Google search their quote unquote FBI office. So what that tells me is that this is not their office. I'm not saying they're not FBI agents. I'm not saying they're not some sort of government operatives, but they damn sure aren't from the field office that they say that to contact here.
So you're refusing to identify yourselves.
No, we've already identified ourselves.
Again, I did not take a look.
And notice she asked the names again, and they would not give their names up again.
Okay, so the phone number for the FBI in Oklahoma City is 405-290-7770.
Okay.
If you just call me with your name, then we'll be able to get your contact with us and we'll be happy to speak.
And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple screenshots of your accounts.
Okay.
Facebook gave them screenshots, ladies and gentlemen. Facebook turned her over to the Department of Justice.
So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we totally do. That's why we're not here to arrest you or anything like that.
Well, you can't arrest me for freedom of speech. We live in America.
Correct.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech.
We do this every day, all day long, talk to people.
We do this every day, all day long. Go to house.
Okay.
It's just an effort to keep everybody safe, make sure that nobody has any.
in an effort to keep everybody safe. We always hear that, safety and security. You hear me say that, I'm beating that horse to death.
No will or bad intent or anything like that. And we've got no reason to believe necessarily that that's you, and that's why we just wanted to have a conversation.
So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood?
Do you have information of anybody else in the neighborhood?
Are you willing to snitch on anybody else in the neighborhood?
I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions. Correct? Okay. Most of the individuals, right, in America.
So someone said here that they saw that her posts were pro-Hamas, which is also what I heard, but they were pro-Hamas, criticizing Joe Biden and support of Israel.
Especially older generation, right, have Facebook. Are you questioning all the citizens in America?
We certainly would if we had any
We certainly would. We'd question every single American on their freedom of speech.
sort of concerns.
Okay, so you have concerns about my personal opinions?
If you don't want to talk to us, then you can.
I'm definitely not going to have a talk with you.
Well, thank you for your time this morning, and feel free to reach out to us.
Okay, they're so-called FBI. This is Rola Abdeljawad in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is America.
So a lot of oddities here. They will not show credentials. They did not have business cards, and they had to look up the FBI field office number of the region they were at. This says a few things. One, some people speculate it's fake. I don't believe it's fake whatsoever, because you can just even see their body language. We have any Marines here that went through the Combat Hunter program. You learn body language, you learn tracking and all that kind of stuff. Their body language is very much so a real interaction. Also, she would not go record the license plate if it was fake, right? We had some people look up the license plate. There's no record found of that license plate, which is common with FBI and various government agencies. So they have shields that block where you can't look up the vehicle because they do raids and such like that. The other thing is someone said that does not look like a FBI vehicle. FBI has standard vehicles, but they also have vehicles like this. I actually had a guy that worked for me years ago that was a real criminal. He was a massive drug dealer, and he got hit by the FBI, and he told me that when he finally got busted, that he recognized these vehicles that had been following him for close to a year, like they'd be around in the same area and this and that. And he was, he didn't understand the TED philosophy, time, environment, distance, and demeanor, what we teach on how to keep from know that you're being surveilled. But if he would have known that, he would have guessed that, but he did think something was fishy. But these vehicles were standard vehicles. A lot of times they will get vehicles they confiscate and things like that. A lot of times they'll even rent vehicles. They'll rent vehicles. They'll fly from somewhere, let's say come from Washington, fly to an area, then they'll use a rental vehicle there, okay? So again, to me, her giving her name, her showing the license plate, the demeanor of these quote unquote agents. Now, it's also a felony to impersonate law enforcement. So just even filming a video like this where you're playing, unless you say a satire, would be essentially breaking the law. So I think that this is definitely 100% real. Could it be another government agency? NSA, who knows? DOJ, could it be someone from maybe Washington, flew down to her area? They're going door to door because this isn't the only case of it. But the fact of the matter is that it's happening. And in this other video I'm going to show you, this was because a lady posted something criticizing the judge of her county on X. And I'm going to show her post here. Cam St. Martin. She posted this back in February. She said, "This monster drugged my 27-year-old cousin at the casino in Baton Rouge. He dumped her half-naked body like trash, had a rap sheet a mile long. He's on probation. Damian Matthews, may you reap what you sow." And she wrote, she tagged the governor there. And Damian Matthews is the judge, I'm assuming. So this is the encounter at her home. She had a Ring camera.
John Gray with the FBI. How are you? Is Miss Anderson here? No. She's not? Okay. I was hoping to see if I could have a couple of minutes of her time. She's not here. Okay. She's at work. Okay. Is there a chance I can make an arrangement to come back and talk to her? Or what's it about? It's about the Baton Rouge subject.
So he says there it's about the Baton Rouge subject. And again, someone said that in the last one, these guys were not wearing suits, but we know that I've even done videos on tons of these ATF, FBI coming in plain clothes. This gentleman here is in plain clothes as well, and you saw him show his credentials here. This is real. This lady actually went on X talking about this after the fact. So we know that it is legit. I'll play it again.
How are you? Is Miss Anderson here? No. She's not? Okay. I was hoping to see if I could have a couple of minutes of her time. She's not here. Okay. She's at work. Okay. Is there a chance I can make an arrangement to come back and talk to her? Or what's it about? It's about the Baton Rouge subject.
So again, we know that the FBI, they surveil people. You could even potentially be surveilled right now. That's why I always recommend go through some of my older videos where I talk about gray man, where I talk about counter surveillance and stuff like that. Maybe I should update those videos, but you definitely should know these things. Man, I'm always doing counter surveillance. I'm always doing cleaning runs, all of these sort of things to ensure that I'm not being surveilled as much as possible. Have Faraday bags and things like that. I think I got Faraday bag link in the description. If not, hit me up in the comments and I'll put one. That way you put your devices in, stuff like that. It's sad we have to take these precautions today, but if you recall, and there's two incidences of this, but I'm going to just talk about one. This veteran here that was murdered by the FBI because he posted some memes. This guy walked with a cane. He could barely walk. I think he was in a wheelchair most of the time. He posted some memes on Facebook, and they literally drove an MRAP through his living room at 6 a.m., raided his home, and shot him in the head while he was getting out of bed. They dragged his body in the street and let it cook in the sun for like 45 hours while they sat and joked around. I did a complete video on this. If you want to watch it, go watch it. But within 3 weeks of that, another veteran, a younger guy, I think he was in his late 20s, he lived with his mother. FBI raided, completely destroyed the home, completely destroyed the house, raiding it, and went and shot her child. Now, he suffered from PTSD, and he was making some posts online, but she said he did not own a firearm. Why was he shot in the head at 6 a.m. again? And look, I'm not a lawyer, but I've had enough dealings to know that you never, ever, never, ever answer any questions to any law enforcement, no matter what it is, without a lawyer present. I don't care if you think that you're going to get out of it or you did nothing wrong. The police and law enforcement are coming there to arrest you. They're trying to find a reason to arrest you. Never, ever, never make a statement without your lawyer present. You do have the right to remain silent and not speak with them. Use it. Use it. The right to remain silent. Never make a statement. I don't care if you think you're in the right or you did nothing wrong. Do not make a statement. reiterate this enough, right? Call an attorney. Have attorneys already in your phone, criminal defense attorneys for your area. Go ahead and go on your local search engine, find local attorneys, put those numbers in your phone. That way you have someone to call. Please listen to me. Making a statement will only make it worse and harder to clean up later. Make 0 statements. Don't say anything whatsoever. And it's just one of those things, man. I've seen so many times. You ever watch that On Patrol Live? Dudes call the police on someone else and they wind up getting arrested. Never make a statement to the police at all. So, you know, the other thing is, if you can watch these auditor videos, and there's cops that do this too. And the thing is that, like, if you're questioned, there needs to be suspicion of some type of crime, right? Or there has to be some type of crime. It just can't be suspicious activity or these sort of things. Ask them if you're being detained, all these sort of things, right? You need to make sure that you're staying in control at that moment. Obviously, don't do anything crazy. Give up no information that you don't have to, you know, those sort of things. Because cops, law enforcement come to arrest people, man. That's what they do. I've seen it over and over again. You can think, oh, I'm just going to tell them because I don't want to, you know, they're asking me, I didn't do anything wrong. The next thing you know, you're in handcuffs, you're in jail, you're trying to get out of it. And especially when you're dealing with federal agents. I had two guys message me. I've had a lot of guys message me that's had run-ins. One guy was just at J6 on the outside, and the FBI has been harassing him since, okay? And he's had an attorney. He's protected himself. Another guy sent me a video of his ring, and he asked me not to share it, but the FBI came because of posts he had made during 2020. And they came multiple times. He never responded. He never came to the door. Obviously, don't let them in your house, right, unless they have a warrant. Never let them check your vehicle unless they have a warrant. I don't care if you think you're doing wrong. I don't know how many times there was a kid that grew up around me, squared away kid. He wound up getting charged with drugs. This kid didn't do drugs, but he allowed them to search his vehicle, and the police found drugs in his car. So you have to protect yourself and know there's dirty cops out there, man. There's a lot of dirty federal agents, and you have to protect yourself, man. This is a modern day, what we call, going back to what I talked about the other day, anarcho-tyranny. And this is exactly what it is. Anarcho-tyranny is a concept where the state is argued to be more interested in controlling citizens so they do not oppose the managerial class, the tyranny, rather than controlling the real criminals, causing anarchy. Laws are argued to be enforced only selectively, depending on how it's perceived to be beneficial to the ruling elite. We see this happening. They're going after citizens. They're going after regular everyday citizens, while criminals are squatting. They're murdering people. They're getting away with everything. Meanwhile, they're worried about grandma that took a stroll at the White House, at the Capitol. And this is where we're at. You post something online, they're harassing you. They're not going after the real criminals. They're going after their opposition. They're trying to shut us down one by one. Why do you think they got so many agents now? Why do you think they amped up their IRS? Because you know what they did to the Tea Party? The Tea Party was a conservative movement that used Saul Alinsky's rules of radicals. And I did lots of discussion on this. That's why you need to watch every video. Every video, I'm dropping bombs in these videos. I never hear anybody else talk about a lot of things I do. Saul Alinsky's Rules of Radicals. If you didn't read that book, you definitely need to read it. It's free on YouTube, on audiobook. You can go listen to it while you're driving. It's the concept these progressives use to take over the country. The Tea Party started using this. It started gaining traction. Well, guess what happened? Tons of the Tea Party started getting IRS audited. Boom, started taking them out. Well, you know what? Eventually, they wound up suing and wound up winning. And it was shown that Obama was using the IRS to target these people. Okay, target opposition. That's what they're doing. Why do you think they got Zuckerberg? They got all these other social media platforms where they're suppressing this sort of thing. Even this week, the controversial videos that I made had been demonetized, and I did an appeal. Usually an appeal takes a few hours. My appeals have taken 3 to 4 days. What they're doing with that is because when that happens, they suppress your content. That way your content doesn't get out to the masses. It's not shared on main page. It's hard to share the video. You may not can even share the video. They're doing this to all of us. That's why it's so important we have to unite together, be strong voices, and take our country back. And it's absolutely mind-boggling. People fall for these things. They fall for these division tactics and stuff like this. Well, we're all Americans. It doesn't matter any other the division stuff they try to push. We're all Americans. We're all in this together. And the fact of the matter is the people that think they're our opposition, other Americans, they will wind up in the same position as us. They'll get put in the same cage, eating the same cricket, listening to Taylor Swift. That's how it's going to be. This is absolutely deliberate, guys. Deliberate, and you have to be aware. But if you get nothing else from this video, don't make any statements to law enforcement, federal or local, at all. I don't care. You want to speak with an attorney, period. Okay. The other thing is that a lot of times when you get in some type of situation, anytime I've gotten in some type of situation where adrenaline was pumping, I don't recall the events correctly during that moment. The same thing would happen to you, especially if you're in some type of combat situation where you're fighting for your life. You're not going to recall the events in that moment, so do not give a statement. You want to wait, speak with an attorney, calm down, and then think about what actually took place. Because when our adrenaline's pumping, you don't think clearly, guys. That's why it's always important to train, because when you train, you have muscle memory. You don't want to make decisions under duress, okay? That's why it's important to practice and train, guys. Get your heart rate up, physical activity, all these sort of things. Because in that moment, when adrenaline's pumping, that OODA loop's going to be skewed a little bit. And just like giving a statement to law enforcement. I do want to share with you guys real quick. We in a new warehouse. This is just part of it, but we had to take a lot of the product down because we're moving warehouses where we're set up now. We're getting our stuff back online. So those that are interested, it's there. We just dropped the M81 DAD TAC cap. Those interested in that on site now. We've also got our crest patches, so you can put on your plate carrier. They're back on site. We've got a soulless one too. That's safety of life at sea, which is a reflective material as well as our standard ones. And we also got shirts back on here. My favorite one, the Screw Liam Thomas shirt, Protect Women's Sports. We made it like an old like gym school shirt. But go show the rest of the world that we're not going to have mediocre dudes competing against women. Go pick up some shirts, some hats, and some patches. Guys are back in store at blackscoutsurvival.com. And do let me know in the comments if you had any sort of dealings with this. And trust me, if you deal with this, go ahead and contact me. Get a video. If you can get a video, a ring video, get your cell phone out. Always video these interactions. If you get contacted, send it to me. We'll do a video. I'll get all the information from you. Let's get this information out here. We got to hold these people accountable. Anyhow, guys, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay silent when questioned by law enforcement. Take care.